I love to show about Mrs. Howard. Sallie B. Howard.
Oh, she's beautiful. She is a beautiful spirit.
Yes, can't you see that?
Yes, you can. Oh my God.
Look, and at the time that picture was taken, she was 102 years old.
Are you serious?
July 2018. 2018, 102. And then she died September of that same year.
Sallie B. Howard was born in 1916 in Wilson, North Carolina, to a family of sharecroppers.
And a sharecropper's child. And the sharecroppers had no education, period, the mom and the daddy. And so they didn't value education. They weren't saying, hey, go out there now, go to that schoolhouse, you get your education and you can do more than what we're doing. No, they wouldn't even let her go until the farming, the harvesting and the planting was done. She couldn't even go, as good as she loved education.
Although she started school late, she maintained a passion for education and went on to graduate from Darden High School in 1938 at the top of her class.
So she graduated from Darden High School in 1938. She would go 1 or 2 months after school started, like October. That's about when she could be free to go to school. She graduated valedictorian of her class. Did you hear that? She graduated valedictorian of her class. And by the way, that's my mama right there. Yeah. So anyway, I always have to say that. But yeah, that's amazing.
Shortly after high school, she had enough money saved to enter Kittrell College, where she studied for 2 years after marrying Arthur P. Howard in 1942.
And she was a country bumpkin from the word go. So he dressed her, he made her. And look at some of the pictures she had. This is a glamour shot. She was when they lived in New York, and she did her teaching in New York.
In 1943, the Howards migrated north. There in New York City, Mrs. Howard began studying creative writing and joined Harlem's famous American Negro Theater.
And so she was part of the Negro Theater of Harlem in New York City. Yeah, and back in the day.
Yes.
And she was with that group of kids, Harry Belafonte, Oscar Davis, Ruby Dee, Sidney Poitier, Esther Rolle. She was a part of that. She thought she could act, but she said I wasn't as good an actor as I was a playwright, so she wrote plays. This is who she was, and this is who we are as a school. We embraced her vision and her spirit and made it ours, and took it to levels beyond anything she could have imagined.
That's why it's so powerful.
Yeah.
That's why it's so powerful.
You haven't heard this one. When I Lay Me Down to Die by Sallie B. Howard. She called it her creed. And she wrote it in 1948.
Wow.
She was 41 years old and lived another 61 years after this. Listen to what the Spirit is speaking to her at that moment. Listen to me. When I lay me down to die, have bade farewell this beauteous world, the valleys green and ocean swirl, of fragrant blossoms and birds that sing, of happy voices with childlike ring, of ecstasy from lover's kiss, though evermore I'm done with this, and my journey through eternity to the dawn of nothing be. I shall begin it cheerfully, if little children let fall a tear to express the love they bear, and weep my passing from this earth, because till death, yea, from birth, for truth and goodness I have striven, because of kindness I have given. If they should weep to have me stay, because I've lighted up their way, then happy upon my couch I'll lie, when I lay me down to
Come on, Miss Sallie. That was, oh my God, that was it.
Now I'll tell you this little short story. There's a white guy here that did a podcast, came to do a podcast. And like the day next, so a few days later, guys, we were having a big celebration here with for her, maybe a birthday or some anniversary or something. And Reverend Barber, the mayor, GK, all the big people were here for that event. And I had invited this guy to come to the event, and sure enough, he came. I saw him come. I saw him, bending down, talking to Miss Howard, but I couldn't spend time with him, and so, because it was too many people and too much hosting to do. So I sent him an email the next day. I said, listen, hey, I saw you. I'm glad you came. I hope you had a good time. I'm so sorry I could not spend time with you. And he wrote me back immediately. He said, listen, I had a chance to talk to Mrs. Howard, and I told her that when I read the poem, I teared up. And he did. I watch people when I read this thing to them. And he did, and that's not uncommon at all. And then he took a picture of it and all that. And he said, and I had the chance to talk to her, and I told her that when I read her poem, that I cried. And she said, turn to him, and you're gonna recognize this. Let me tell you something, little brother. That's what she called everybody, little brother. She said, let me tell you something, little brother. When I wrote that, and I put that pen down, was finished and put that pen down, I cried too. I cried too.